Now, what I'm curious here, Terry, because you have such a different perspective on water than I do. I came in late. I came in 2016, and remember, I was a swimmer, so I'm from the perspective of actually being in the water the whole time.
Right.
Never actually treating pools until I was with Arenda and now HASA.
Yeah.
My question is, what are you hoping to get out of these truck time sessions with your people out on the West Coast?
Well, I think it's several things. One is it's just getting to know the industry and bringing the industry together and getting that out into the, out into the public, I guess, or out into the industry. That's one. The other thing is just to see how in different areas, different pool pros are maintaining the pools. How are they? What are the different issues and problems and challenges that they're facing, and how are they addressing those challenges, and what's working, what's not working? I think that's all beneficial things for everybody in the industry to hear.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And to hear it from the person, actually the grassroots person, the person who has the book, not to hear it from some intellectual that's up in the ivory tower of academia trying to tell somebody what they should do to their pool when they've never been at a pool or stood at a pool or treated a pool.
Amen.
So that's kind of, I think, the main crux of what we're trying to do.
I love it. It's kind of like listening to a sports psychologist or a physiologist about swimming that they've never been in a pool.
Exactly.
Like, wait a second.
Exactly.
Maybe you might want to apply some of these things.
And you can learn a whole lot more, like you said this morning. You've spent most of your life in water.
In water, yeah.
So in a lot of ways, you know a whole lot more about water than somebody who hasn't been in the water and they've just been looking at it or observing it.
Well, I tell customers all the time, you've probably forgotten more than I've ever learned about what you do. And that's not my role. I'm not trying to tell you how to do what you do. I'm showing you options and explaining from water's perspective.
Right.
What has water been screaming to us? It doesn't speak language, right? But it does have needs, and it is governed by laws of physics. That's what we teach.
I like, your analogy of how you state that, water is going to do what it wants to do naturally.
Absolutely.
That's physics.
It always will.
And it's the law of physics.
Yeah.
It's like the law of gravity, and there's subjective truth and objective truth.
Yeah.
And so I can subjectively say, hey, I identify as a bird.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. But the objective law of gravity is going to disprove that if I get up in a tree and jump out, then my subjective truth goes away.
Yeah. Well, even a bird can jump out of a tree. If he doesn't flap his wings, he's going to fall too.
Exactly.
I use the analogy of a plane. Like a plane can mechanically overpower gravity temporarily until something goes wrong or it runs out of fuel. But one way or another, hopefully safely, one way or another, that plane is coming back down.
Yeah, so the point there is law of gravity is always going to have its way.
Right.
Same with water.
Yep.
Water is always going to have its way. And so I love that analogy. You use that. The analogy I use is I basically say water is chaotic.
Yeah, it is.
It's capable of chaos. And if you don't understand that, and you don't understand the reactivity of water, that it is just naturally, as soon as you start putting things in water, water is naturally going to react. It's going to, we talk about amphoteric. It's amphoteric. So it's going to
go with your words.
It's going to deal with bases and acids, and it's going to attempt to balance itself from that standpoint.
Is that experientially?
Experientially.
You're using big words, Terry.
And then, there's a whole thing of hydrolysis too, and that is just the natural reactivity of water from hydrolysis is that it's going to split molecules.
Yeah.
That's how it dissolves salt. That's how it. Actually, chlorine's not going to work unless water.
Should be able to get around it.
Unless water does its hydrolysis. That's how we get HLCl and we get the OH minus and all of the disinfection. It's because it's a hydrolysis of water, splitting molecules and doing what it's supposed to do.